How can you be so certain that you're the one flirting with fire? Who wants to be one step ahead? First to the punchline. Who wants to be one step ahead? First to the punchline. When it feels like it's all closing in, 'cause every time we talk we say the same things that we say. So never mind all the noise going through your head. Hi, welcome back to another One Chart lesson. Today we're doing Jack Johnson's latest song, One Step Ahead, and we're actually going to do it two ways. I'm going to split this lesson up into the first half, which is the original kind of album version, but I've also found a version of Jack playing this just on a solo acoustic guitar, and he does it in a completely different style, and it sounds great. So I'm going to include the link down below to that other version as well. He just calls it a mellow kind of home version, I think, something like that. Anyway, I'll include that as well. So if you want to skip ahead to do the solo acoustic version of this, it's in a different key. He's dropped it down a whole step, but he uses a lot of finger picking work. So the album version is how you just heard then. It's going to be that typical kind of Jack Johnson sort of strumming. So you're going to need to be able to do this very slightly swung 16th note kind of pattern, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E, with lots of kind of dead strums or muted strums in between these chords, so that. Right, so I'm going to take you through the chords. Download your chart. It's got everything there that you need, including this riff at the start. It does it on guitar alone once, and then the bass and drums come in. But the riff is this. It's sliding up 2 frets, 1 fret slide, doesn't really matter, but sliding up to the 4th fret on the G string with your 2nd finger. Then with your 3rd finger, you're playing the 4th fret on the E string. That. Then you play same 2 strings, but 6th fret together, same 2 fingers. Next time we are sliding that 3rd finger up the G string 2 more frets to get to the 8th fret. This time with your 1st finger, you're playing the 7th fret on the E string. And then take both those fingers up 2 frets, hit the 10th fret G string and 9th fret E string, and then come back down to the 6th fret. When you go back down to the 6th fret, you're going to jump back onto your 3rd finger on the E string. So it's going to sound like this. Okay, the first one comes after a slight rest at the start. It's a half beat rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right, so it comes in on the one hand. Slide, together, slide, together, together on the 6. That's the riff. It actually does that a total of 4 times, but the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th time it goes through that, the rest of the band comes in. Now, if you want to do this, if you want to try and carry that riff on whilst playing the chords, the best way I can think of to do it is by playing those 2 4s with a G sharp minor bar chord, like that. So you sort of hit the bass notes of the chord. You don't have to be super accurate. Hit the bass notes of the chord and then the top strings of the chord. As you go up to the 6s, you're moving up through an A sharp minor or a B flat minor, doesn't matter what you call it. Then you go straight up to a B major bar chord, which is on the 7th fret, and in that chord you've got 8 on the G and 7 on the E. So you've still got that riff going up through there. The last one, instead of going up to there, it's hard to kind of incorporate that with a chord. So from that B, just play that single note on the E string on the 9th fret with your pinky. So just play the B, and play that note there, and you can lift off the B chord as you play that note, so you get to land on this last chord to get this note, which is the easiest way I can think of to play your F sharp chord, which is what you need, and that note. If you play the F sharp down here, you kind of got to try and put that note there somehow. Tricky. That's your riff, right? So at the end of that riff, you come to the C sharp, and when you hear the bass is going, right? So it's moving down through that A sharp, and I'm going to call all these sharps instead of including flats as well, because that's kind of just my way. It doesn't matter really whether you call them sharps or flats. And in the next version of this song that I'm going to teach, he moves it from G sharp down to F sharp anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to call them all sharps. The last C sharp chord, if you play it like this, if you play like a C sharp sus2, which is doing it with your third and fourth fingers on this chord, then that leaves this second finger free to reach across and play that A sharp bass note over that C sharp chord, because then you get that. And they're your chords. So going through that progression underneath that riff, it's G sharp minor, B. So as we went up through those chords, you see we landed on that B. That A sharp minor is just a transitional chord that gets you up to the B. So we've got G sharp minor, B, F sharp major, then you go to your C sharp, and you're doing more strums here. Add the A sharp bass note, and then back to the G sharp minor. That chord progression forms the chord progression for your verses as well. How can you be so certain that you're the one floating with fire? So it's really just two strums, two down strums. 1, 2, da 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 da. So keep that loose, keep it. It doesn't really matter how messy you are with that, as long as you're landing on those chords in the verse, that'll get you through. In that first verse, as you're going through those chords, it goes through that chord progression a total of 5 times, which is a little bit odd. Normally it's an even number, but that's, that's an interesting thing about this. G sharp minor to B. The first 2 times there's no riff under it, and then the 3rd, 4th, and 5th times through that pattern, that gets included as well. So then you can actually shift to doing those chords if you want. You don't need to include that, and if it makes it too busy and too hard, and if you're trying to sing it as well, leave it out, doesn't matter. When you get to the chorus, you actually do the same chords again, but it's who wants to be one step ahead, G sharp minor, then you're down to the F sharp, first to the punchline. Who wants to be one step ahead, first to the punchline. When it feels like it's... Now, this is the second part of the chorus, and we're going to a B, and then we're going to drop the bass down to an A sharp, right? You can do that here, or you can do that here. It doesn't matter, and either way, you're going to land on the G sharp minor. When it feels like it's all closing in, all the lines we won't cross, bend and stay. Never mind all the thoughts going through your head. After 3 3 times through that, because every time we talk, we say the same things that we said. Same rhythm going through, but you're doing F sharp, E, back to G sharp minor. Then you do it again, F sharp down to E, and then it's straight in. When it goes back to the G sharp there, you're beginning the intro riff again. Right, so you do that intro again. This time it's only twice through that riff, and then you're into another verse. Now the next verse doesn't go on for quite as long, but it's mapped out exactly on your chart, the chords that you need to play. Again, through that same rhythm. Twice through that. The third time through this time, you're going to B, and then back into the normal chords, back into the G sharp minor. So it's almost exactly the same, but we're going through, what is it? We're going through 4 times through that progression, and on the third time, you replace that G sharp minor with the B, and you stay on the B for the whole bar. On your chart, it should be pretty clear. Then you're going through another chorus, and then we're kind of pretty much chorusing out until the end. At the end, with this chorus, we're repeating that F sharp to E to G sharp minor, total of 4 times, and on the 4th time you end it, right? So there it is, the song in its entirety. The key is that, and there's a way there to include that key riff in it if you want as well. That's it. Now we're going to move on to the acoustic version, which Jack has changed to a different kind of, to a different key. So instead of playing this in G sharp minor, he's playing it in F sharp minor. And we're going to take that up in just a second. How can you be so certain that you're the one flirting with fire, when it feels like it's all closing in? All the lines we won't cross will bend instead. Never mind all the thoughts going through your head. 'Cause every time we talk, we say the same things that we said. So never mind all the noise going through your head. That is the acoustic mellow version of this song, One Step Ahead by Jack Johnson. It's completely different to the album version, but it's really, really pretty, and he plays it in such a different way that I wanted to do a lesson for this as well. It's all jammed in together, so take your pick. This is in the key of F sharp minor instead of G sharp minor for the album version, which lets him kind of do a bit more with his open strings, particularly in that part in the chorus that you just heard me do. Basically, what we're doing is we're playing the E string and the G string with thumb and a finger, and you can use a middle finger to pick the G string or your first finger, it doesn't really matter, but you're alternating between those two like that. The very first thing you hear him do on the video, which I've got a link to below, is a bar of E. Now, when we do these chords, it's really helpful, I think, to think of these as chord shapes. So you're thinking of moving through these chord shapes rather than just playing numbers on the strings. And so with your E, that's the open E string and the 1st fret G string. When we go to the second bar, which is the F sharp minor, you're on the 2nd fret E string and the 2nd fret G string. Now, whenever it's a minor chord, you're on the same fret between the E string and G string. whenever it's a major chord, the G string is 1 fret higher than your E string root note. So if you keep that in mind, then it's easy to think of this as an F sharp minor, that's a G sharp minor, that's an A major because it's on the 5th fret E string but the 6th fret G string. The B, which is another chord we use, is a B major. We even go up to a D major, which is the 10th fret E string, 11th fret G string, and open E, of course. So he starts here on the E for a bar, and then the opening riff that he plays is the F sharp minor, going up to the 4th fret for the G sharp minor. So B, down to E, then B, G sharp minor, F sharp minor again. When you go down to that open E, you can use your first finger on that. I tend to kind of keep the same fingers dedicated to the same strings here. So when I go from that B down to the E, I'll still keep using that third finger there. Personal preference, but I just find it sort of simplifies things for my small brain. Now, that riff just goes through, in this acoustic version, he only does that riff through twice. Right? There's a lot of string noise as you slide around. These are particularly scratchy sounding strings. They're brand new, but it is what it is. Try and minimize that sliding noise if you can, but after a while you tend not to even hear it anyway. As long as it's not too horrifically intrusive, then you can get away with that. You might even want to lift your fingers to some of those positions, but generally speaking, he's sliding it around. And you can hear him slide around on the video. So once you've done that, your verse is, how can you be so certain that you're the one? Just jumps from F sharp minor straight up to A. And you're the one flirting with fire. E, B. Now, from the B, he jumps down to the G sharp minor. So that's in the other version when you've gone. But this one is, and that gets you back to the start of the progression. How can you be so certain that you're the one flirting with fire? That's one progression. Does that through 5 progressions for the verse. On the 3rd progression, he leaves out that G sharp minor. So on the 3rd progression through, it's this. Right, it just misses out that little G sharp minor step through. Doesn't matter whether you do that or not. But I've tried to indicate that on your tab without getting too complex about it. So it says just underneath the line there, miss out the G sharp minor on the 3rd time through. The chorus is who wants to be one step ahead? F sharp minor, E first to the punchline. Who wants to be one step ahead? Up to the B and then back down. First to the punchline. This time he adds half a bar of B. So you'll see on your chart it changes to 2/4 timing, which basically just means there's 2 beats in that bar, and then it drops back into 4/4 timing straight after that. So it's basically just an extra little bar or an extra little half bar of just 2 beats. You're hanging on the B for that. Now here is where I think he's kind of, his reasoning for changing the key maybe is because when he does this, when it feels like they're all closing in. When he runs through this section, he uses some nice open strings, which I don't think you can do in the other key, but what he's doing is A, and I'm using my 3rd finger here just to grab that open E string, and it's accurately tabbed on your chart, so follow that carefully if you want to get it accurate. Not like that. When it feels like it's so closing in. When you get down to the F sharp, open B string, back to the open E, right? So the pattern there on the F sharp minor is never mind all the thoughts go through your head, all the noise. 'Cause every time we talk, we say up to the D there on the 10th fret, so it's a bit of a leap. And then we're going to leap back down to the F sharp minor. The same things that we said. Never mind all the noise going through your head. Back into the intro riff. Into another verse, going on like that. It's pretty much the same now for the rest of the way through the song. I don't think there's any more surprises there that I need to tell you about. But the tab is there, the tab is accurate, the tab is good. Follow the tab, learn the tab, throw the tab away. It's what I always like people to do with my charts is they use the charts to learn the song properly, then play it to the point where you can play it without the chart, and then you don't need it anymore. And that's when you're actually playing it really, really well, because you're not looking at the pages, reading them, and worrying about getting the notes right. You're actually playing the song, you know how it goes, you've memorized it, you played it 10, 20, 30 times, and it's sounding really good. It finishes the same way. Never mind all the thoughts go through your head, 'cause every time we talk we say the same things, and when we end on the F sharp minor. So that is what I mean when I say memorize these little positions as what chord they represent, because then that makes it really easy to think of this as the chord progression that it is. Okay, so E, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A major, B major, D major, and then you got it down, and then you can just follow the chords. You can even, transpose it on your other chart. There's two charts to download. One just has the chords, and the other one, this one, has all the tab in its most accurate way I could make it. So there's a bit to go on with there, but then you'll know this song two different ways, and you'll see, it's great because you get a little bit of a glimpse into why he would move it from one key to another, and the way you could play a song that's an album version as an acoustic version, but make it sound completely different. Anyway, there's a lot there. Like I said, thank you for watching. I hope you've got something out of this, and if you have, let me know, because I love to hear from people. And if you've got any questions or anything that you need some help with, you don't think I've explained it fully enough, please get in touch with me and I'll help you out if I can. All right, thanks again for watching. See you here again soon. Bye.